Hey guys, so speaking at events, whether it's online events, podcasts, or actual events, that gets you amazing exposure. So if you're building a personal brand, you want to try and make sure, if you can, get out on stage and speak at a conference. Now, it's one of the things that will propel you into the industry spotlight, and obviously you've got to deliver value, takeaways, show your personality and so on at these events. Now, over the past couple of months, I've spoken at SERPConf out in Bulgaria. Now, obviously, if you go to serpconf.com, become a speaker, you can pitch to speak at events. It's very common for events to allow you to pitch, put yourself forward, put your topic forward, which is obviously important, and try and get yourself on a stage. Now, other events like Shanghai SEO, which I was at a few weeks back, slightly different. There's only 10 speakers or thereabouts, and Matt Diggity actually handpicks those speakers based on his industry knowledge. So you can see there's a whole bunch of speakers there that Matt has picked. It's his conference. He's picked them for one reason or another, and will utilise contacts in the industry to say, what do you think of this guy? What do you think of that guy? That's kind of how it works. It's the same at the likes of Affiliate World. They don't, or I think you can pitch. However, they normally ask other people, who do you think would be a good speaker? Someone will recommend you. They will go out and do some research on you, and they will then approach you and ask you to speak at a conference. But there's so many conferences all over the world, Brighton SEO being one of them, where again you can pitch to speak. You go onto the Brighton SEO website, get in contact with them. They will allow you to pitch to speak. And obviously what they're looking for are fresh topics, fresh ideas, someone with a personality, not someone who's going to go up in a monotone voice, mumbling and bumbling, just because they think they want to be able to sell from a stage. That's not how it works. You've got to add personality, you've got to add value, and you will get the exposure you need. So becoming a speaker is one way of building a personal brand. I applied for Brighton SEO for many, many years. Just get knocked back after, well, they didn't even say no, just no one replied. Obviously, if you don't have any kind of following, it is a little bit harder. So that's where you really are going to have to hone in on the topic and potentially try and do some local meetups or something else so that you've got some form of footage to show where or your ability to speak. And obviously people are looking at that. There's not a whole bunch of amazing speakers who've got great personalities and everything else. A lot of people in this industry are not comfortable on stage. We're not professional speakers. We're good at a particular job. And you've got to be able to go up and do that in a kind of engaging way on stage. And that's something you do have to consider when speaking. Speaking at Brighton SEO, Shanghai, and various other events, if you do the job well, you are going to get invited to other speaking events. So it's just trying to get your foot in the ladder. Now, I started out, I used to run a local meetup in Glasgow. I used to run a local meetup in Chester. I used to host my own events. I then went down to London, spoke at a few local meetups, just to cut my teeth and figure out, the best way to present. Do I swear too much? Do I not talk enough? Do I not offer enough value? You've got to cut your teeth before you go onto the big stage, because when you go to the likes of Brighton or Shanghai or whatever, you've got one chance. You're in front of a big audience, and if you balls that up, you may never get an invite back. So just be careful. Don't rush into it. Maybe cut your teeth at some local meetups, maybe do some webinars, maybe do some podcasts. Prior to me speaking live at events, I'd done a whole series of webinars with SEMrush back in the day, and that really helped me as well. Speaking to the screen as I am now was easy, but then when you do that in front of a real audience, very, very different ballgame. So becoming a speaker is something that you want to consider. Now, you can Google call for SEO speakers, or you can just go and look at the event specifically, and you can see they're normally got a call for speaker page. So you'll be able to see interested in speaking at SMX. They're looking for someone who is interested in a session or panel discussion. So you can submit that to their programming team and do it that way as well. And there's a lot of different other websites and events out there where you can go and pitch yourself to. Obviously, there's some SEO speakers here as well. You can see Up North Conference Speakers, Be a Speaker. That's Marketing 2.0. They are submit your proposal to become a speaker. So it's very easy to just do some a couple of searches, and you'll be able to put yourself forward and hopefully land a slot. It's going to be a numbers game at the start if you're relatively unknown in the industry, but you've got to just keep persevering, keep trying. There are people out there who are doing YouTube, they're doing podcasts, they're doing everything to build up their brand, and we'll go into that in more detail in the other sections.